We spent the afternoon driving one of the real dark horses of Ferrari's early 70s repertoire, the 365 GTC 4, which was one of their four-seater models. And probably for a period it was one of their more forgotten four-seater models, which I just can't understand. And I think it's fair to say if you took the wheels off, because they're immediately identifiable as Ferrari wheels, and you pulled the badges off, you could almost give it to a number of Italian car brands. And
is that not because of the designers though of the time?
Well,
that could have happened with a lot of brands at that time.
It was a Pininfarina car. The difference was that while at the time Aldo Brovarone was doing most of their drawing, it was drawn by a guy called Filippo Sapino. And I can imagine in my, in the cloudy kind of nostalgic head of mine, that the drawings would have been something that were another proposal, they were always doing proposals. The way things happened in those days at design houses was that drawings were picked up, they were refined to a point, and then they were sold to somebody. Now, whether they were sold to Ferrari or Maserati or Lambo or Alfa Romeo or even some of the Japanese firms at the time that were talking to the Italians, it didn't necessarily matter, but they got developed and they got sold. Ferrari had always made more money from four-seaters than it had from two-seaters, and they needed a fresh approach to the 1970s, both in exterior styling and cabin design. So all of a sudden, Sapino's designs make their way up a rung. Ferrari decides that it needs to replace the old 365 GT 2+2 that we all know as the Queen Mary, and here is a perfect fit. It was launched at the 71 Paris show. By the end of 72, production dead and buried, finished, right?
Right.
And so you'd think it was a flop, when in reality,
sounds like it.
505 units made it over half of all V12 production in the same period. The thing sold like hotcakes, especially in the United States. It was an incredibly popular car. And then it was replaced by the straight line 365 that became the 400 and started that part of the family.
Yeah.
And conceivably, that could only have been because that made more sense for real humans to sit in the back seat.
Yeah.
It's a model that became really unloved for a while, and I think that is down to the styling. We were talking about Sapino before, and I think one of the most offbeat features is the rubber mouth at the nose.
It's definitely a car that's either a love or a hate car.
Yeah.
I love it because to me, it's a piece of sculpture. They went through a long period of time where no one really wanted them.
Yeah.
They weren't worth a lot of money. They were expensive to maintain because of the engine and all the other stuff going on in the car, and they just got really unloved. But now, obviously, with values of Ferraris, 12-cylinder Ferraris going up, all of a sudden, people have woken up to them. A lot of the issues that you see around reputations with cars like this is because they've not been properly maintained, and there are issues. A well-maintained one of these is a beautiful thing to drive.